One Thursday NBA game for us to discuss, but we get to talk about my Lakers, and it's a nice spot to be in for the Lakers right now as a road team to go steal game one, Erik, because you've already got home court advantage, and we sort of saw that happen yesterday in the Boston Philly game, right? This in games like this, the home team down 0-1, knowing that they are going to have to go on the road for a couple games coming up, there's a level of energy that you normally get in this situation. We're going to show you a stat in just a minute from DRF Sportsbook, and that's where we're looking, Erik. We're looking at the lines over at DRF Sportsbook. We encourage everyone, if you're in the state of Iowa right now, to go and sign up and use our promo code FAST1000 when you sign up for a DRF Sportsbook account. You will get up to a $1,000 deposit match. Use that promo code FAST1000. Erik and I will also give you a couple plays on Thrive Fantasy. Erik, my buddy Chad Cooper, we've hooked him, man. He loves playing Thrive. He's playing little prop parlays every day. He's nailed a couple recently. He'll usually have one or two of his plays, and then he'll kind of put one of yours in there. He'll throw one of mine in there, and he'll put them all together. So really good stuff from Chad. Shout out to Koopa Loop. We'll give out some Thrive plays, but just one game today, Erik. It's an important one. And the game the other night, it felt like a big game. You know, watching it with these two teams, with LeBron, with Curry, and the best player on the floor was Anthony Davis. The question we always ask with him, can he sustain that night in, night out? In a series, what's kind of cool is he only has to do it 4 times out of 7 or maybe every other time. But this feels like that game where you're going to get, especially in the first quarter, first half, that incredible energy from Golden State, really feeling like their season's on the line here. Because sure, they were down 0-2 in their last series. A little bit different because they had 2 games coming home and things shifted. You don't want to get down 0-2 here and have to come and play the Lakers, who are playing good basketball with really strong home court advantage.
Yeah, I mean, if AD is going to get 30 and 20, there's not much that the Warriors can do. They made their run in the game when they played a little bit smaller. The thing is they can't have Looney and Green on the court at the same time because they're basically playing 3-on-5.
Yep.
I like the Warriors to come out here with a purpose to feed off the energy, kind of like we saw in Boston. I played the -1.5. I expect a little bit more from Wiggins too.
Yep.
D'Lo is, out of the Lakers starters, he's their worst on-ball defender. They're putting him on Wiggins, and Wiggins is basically standing in the corner. Wiggins, they're going to need some more ISO for Wiggins, and from him looking to get to the rack. I expect that to start out.
This is one of my plays tonight.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that. One of my plays for tonight, Wiggins to score 20 points. And you're spot on. Just the way the Lakers are defending him, it worked in game 1, and it was sort of smart. The Lakers are making Steph work really hard, making Clay work really hard for their shots, kind of giving everybody else those shots. Wiggins is the guy who could crush the Lakers if he's having a big game. Like if he's like you said, getting opportunities where he's matched up against D'Angelo or even Austin Reeves, where he has a ton of size. Even LeBron right now. LeBron can't defend. If Wiggins was to go at LeBron every play throughout the game, there's really not much LeBron would be able to do because LeBron has to pick and choose his spots. I think it's going to be a big Wiggins game. I got Wiggins to score 20 at +140. I think they're just going to want to get him more involved, just as you were saying, Erik.
Yeah, I like that play a lot. My next play is, and this is a play I gave out yesterday and it hit with the Boston. First half teams this year coming off a game 1 loss are 60% ATS against the spread. Last 2 seasons, that is 59%. So I really like that trend, and I'm going to continue that trend with the first half with the Warriors minus the 3.5. And then our friends over at the DRF Sportsbook led me to our next play with the Warriors minus, I believe I got it at 6 for the game.
Yep.
In the last 5 seasons, teams that are 3.5 to 9.5 point favorites in game 2 are 31-5 ATS, just kind of looking a little bit more deeper since 2018. Teams are 18-2 ATS in game 2 if they lost in game 1. 19-1 straight up. So this is definitely that bounce back spot. And I'm definitely gonna play it here. It's just one of those things. I expect Kerr to make some adjustments.
This is a championship team, right? This is a championship team. Like they've been in situations like this before. I played the first half along with you, Erik, at -3.5. Now, the only reason why I didn't jump on the game, well, I'm a Lakers fan and I don't want to root against the Lakers like that. But more than anything, the one thing that somewhat concerned me, if I was a Warriors fan, the only thing that would worry me was that, damn, we hit 23s and shot 40% from 3. And I believe they were the first team ever to have 3 different players hit 6 threes in a game and still lost. Now, so maybe there's because they're an incredible 3-point shooting team. They have perhaps the 2 greatest shooters ever on the same team, but even they don't shoot 45, 50% all the time because they shoot at such a high clip. So it's hard to do so. I know you're going to love this play though, Erik. I got to go Poole under the 15.5. This dude hit 6 threes. He took that really, I don't know. Some people were saying they thought it was a good shot late. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I want Jordan Poole taking that shot for
from that deep too. That deep.
2 steps in front. 2 steps in front with another dribble or 2. He was way deep with 8 or 9 seconds. I heard Redick, and he made a great point and said, maybe you don't get open or another look. Like there was nobody around. I think the data had nobody within 9.5 feet. It just did look a little deep, even for Poole. Like even if that was a Curry Clay, if that's like a 2 seconds left, that's fine. I would have wanted even them to get a little closer than that.
Yeah. That was just deep. Poole did play a good game. He had some shots.
He was great offensively.
Biggest Jordan Poole guy. There is this video going around with oh my God, the guy from the Pacers, Halliburton, and 2 people from ESPN.
On the thing with Channing Frye. And he said he would have done the same thing. And Frye says, that's why you're sitting here with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
that was so great.
But I mean, Poole, how can I word this? Poole's not the alpha in that room.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
you don't
and it's kind of like I'm trying to think of like a role player type. And I mean, like I'm gonna get hammered for this. It's kind of like if the Bucks needed a 3 and it's not Drew taking the shot. It's not Middleton taking the shot.
And it's not
Giannis. It's not Giannis. It's like a Grayson Allen or
and
a
that's
Pat
what I was going to
Connaughton
say.
Taking a shot.
It's even
like
hard
a 3rd-tier player
for a team like the Lakers because the Lakers actually have a few guys that wouldn't be the craziest option, right? If that was LeBron or D'Angelo or like Austin Reeves, wouldn't seem that absurd, but the key part is like late in the game like this, this is something that Russell Westbrook used to kind of do, right? When Kawhi would be cooking, Russ would take that shot. It was just about like knowing the moment, knowing what the situation was. And I think in these series, it's a back and forth and it's adjustments and it's a counter. And how do you counter? Jordan Poole had a great game. Man, he hit some tough shots and offensively, he was in a good rhythm. I'm going to make him prove it again because he hit 6 threes. And Erik, I think the more he plays, the more the Lakers will attack him defensively, just like we've seen other teams do. Because like I said, all of a sudden you have Poole out there. Well, Poole can't really defend D'Angelo. D'Angelo's offensive game has been pretty good recently. He's got that little midi game going. And what's nice about D'Angelo and Austin Reeves, or, you put Rui someone like that in the game, Schroeder, can Poole guard any of those guys?
No,
not consistently.
He's just such a liability. And I know you see some people hyping him, but the reality of the situation is he's just such a liability defensively.
We know our teams
too,
Erik. Like, you know how like sometimes we know our own teams, just like you said. I was calling for the Schroeder prop last game. I was calling for it. There was no Schroeder props out there. He went over, he hit 19 points. And I just think this is still low because this has got to be a Schroeder series. Like, Schroeder and Vanderbilt are the guys that are going to be defending Steph and Clay. They're the guys chasing them around because D'Angelo just can't do that. It's not like he cannot do that. Austin Reeves can a little bit. But Troy Brown can't really do that. We saw Troy Brown, he was chasing Clay around, and he had a tough time getting through screens. Schroeder, you may not like Schroeder. The dude is tough. He battles, and he will fight.
He'll compete. He'll compete, no doubt about it. It's the thing that we've seen this. Another reason why I like the Warriors, and excuse me for interrupting, is
no, please do.
The Laker, we kind of see this in playoff games, like after a team has an absorbent amount of free throw attempts, and I'm not saying they were bad calls.
No.
We usually see the team like not get to the free throw line as much.
We're just humans. So it's like a human nature thing, right? There's going to be 3 or 4 that are kind of close. And I agree with you. I don't think it was the Lakers getting handed free throws. And I'm not saying that the Lakers will lose this game today because they're going to get screwed by the refs. But if you are an official and you look at that after and you look at the box score, sometimes you look at those things and you're like, that seems a little off. Even for teams that are these outlier teams, because when you shoot 53s, you're not going to be shooting a bunch of free throws, right? It just makes sense. But I don't think both of those teams, it's just not going to be the same style of game as it was last time. That was like, you very rarely see a game where both teams are perfectly showing you their styles, just like that.
And it could be a thing with the game last night. We kind of saw Philly pack it up in the third quarter when they just did, when they knew they couldn't come down. It could be the same scenario here where LeBron comes out first quarter, doesn't have it, and he just decides to kind of, hey, you know what? We got our one here. We did what we wanted to do here. Let's just kind of shut it down and save ourselves. And this is short rest too for LeBron and AD. It's going to be interesting to see after short rest what happened. And the one thing with AD we need to remember is, just kind of looking at his game log. Now I know when they went on their run, when it was two or three seasons ago, he had multiple 30-point games back to back in the playoffs. But against the Grizzlies, who do have better size and do play completely different defense than the Warriors, after he did go over that 30-point threshold, he was in for a clunker. Yep. He never was able to piece those two games together. So we got to remember that too.
He's a defensive guy. Like the people that want him to be your number one offensive option all the time, because he's got the skills to do it and he's got the body type to do it and he can do it, but he himself wants to be the best defender. Like when you hear him talk too, that's what he takes personally. When you watch him play and you see how impactful he is defensively, that's more of what he does. You can count on that every night. It's harder to count on the 30, from him. That's just not something you necessarily get offensively in back-to-back nights. And also, there's LeBron James and other options offensively for them. Like it doesn't have to be an Anthony Davis focused night. And kind of like what you're saying too, other teams will generally counter that. He has a big night. Other teams will then double him, make it so he has to get the ball out of his hands and then force the D'Angelos and the Reeves and the Ruiz and the Vanderbilts to hit shots. Right.
Yeah.
Erik, what about for Thrive? Anything else for Thrive today that you wanna mention? We've been loving it. We've been loving Thrive, man. We've been having a good time.
Thrive. I just went with the Wiggins over. I just really think this is going to be a big game for him. I think he's going to look to attack. I think they're going to look to put him in ISO right away. So I'm going to take the Wiggins over in the points at 17.5. And then look, maybe I'm playing with fire here. I did AD under 28.5 points and assists. I don't want anything to do with the rebounds props
Yeah.
just because the Warriors do give up a lot of
And he
rebounds.
could get 15, 20 rebounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not really a big
AD
assist guy,
I mean, his ceiling, he had 5 last game, and that's
which is a
probably
lot
his
for
ceiling.
him.
Yeah, 5 to 4. Expect pretty much a defensive focus effort in stopping him. If they're able to hold him under 24 points, I think this hits. So I did 80 under 28.5 points assist, and Wiggins over the 17.5 points.
We saw AD have really good games that they won where he scored 22 and has 3 assists.
Yeah.
Right? 22 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal. You know, like that could be a really good game for him, a game that the Lakers win by 20 or lose by 20. That's what's nice about that prop is it doesn't matter what happens really in the game, but we get the sense that if you and I were coaching the Warriors after watching that game, okay, now we have to make life harder on Anthony Davis in game 2.
Yeah.
We cannot let him walk into so many shots, get putbacks, easy rebounds, and slam them right back in. We got to make sure that LeBron, who looks maybe a little bit older, let's make him prove it a little more. Let's sag off of LeBron, who's shooting 20% from 3 in the playoffs right now. I think he was 1 of 8 from 3. And now it's starting to like get in his head a little bit. So he's taking some bad ones too. You know, like he's taking the shots from 3 where he's open, but he shouldn't be taking it because it's like early in the shot clock. And I'm very curious to see if he'll be able to get back. It's not like LeBron's ever been a great shooter, but he's not a 20% shooter. He's a 33% 3-point shooter, even when he's not good. Tonight, Lakers and the Warriors, huge game. And we wish you the best of luck. I mean, unless you're playing, you know, the Warriors on the money line, then I don't want anything to do with you on that one. No, not at all. Erik, buddy, thanks again for filling in throughout the week and helping out. I've been a little busy getting all prepped for Derby stuff. Anyone that wants to play the Kentucky Derby or is a horse racing fan, I have a lot of content on my podcast. That's what G said podcast. I gave out a play on Erik's podcast the other night, and I'm also going to join Erik a little bit later on this evening, Thursday night, to talk a little bit more. Usually we go through like matchups and some heads-to-heads and stuff like that, right?
Correct. We'll look at some matchups. Waiting for the sportsbook I use to post them up. They're not currently up yet.
So we'll talk about that tonight. A little more Derby talk. If you want some help, come and hang out with us. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, 5:00 p.m. Eastern time, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time, right here on Fast Break Bets.